Pixel 6.
Zoom in the rocket.
Perfect.
So the last time I reviewed a Pixel device was the Google Pixel 2, and I actually did that review from my bathtub. This was to help showcase the IP water resistance. But with a healing stomach tattoo that prevents not only this video from being shot in the bathtub, it also throws my whole life into turmoil. I digress. So today we're going to look at the new line of Google Pixel phones, the Google Pixel 6 and the 6 Pro. Now if you're watching this video, you probably know everything you need to know about the devices already. I'll skim over the specs and talk about some of my favorite features I've found while I've been using this phone for the last 3 weeks. Even without the price conversation, this device has everything you are looking for in a smartphone, but when you factor in the price, it almost makes it impossible to say no to. No! So in case you haven't heard, Google is marketing the new Pixel 6 and Pixel 6 Pro as the first all Google phone. And what that means is they are using their own chip. So they created the Google Tensor chip and put it inside each device. So the Google Tensor chip is supposed to help integrate the expertise between AI and machine learning. That was a really hard sentence, but it's directly from Google's website. Basically what this means is from image processing to multitasking, adaptive battery, the marrying between hardware and software works even better than it has in previous Pixel devices. But that integration between hardware and software has always been the MO of most Pixel devices. So now with this Tensor chip, that's supposed to happen even more seamlessly. But of course, the number one feature of Pixel phones ever since the Google Pixel 2 is the cameras. And the 6 is no exception. So I am going to do a separate video breaking down the cameras in this device a little more thoroughly, but here's the science. So in that new camera visor, we have a 50 megapixel wide angle lens and a 12 megapixel ultra wide. And of course it has all the pixel magic that you would expect out of a Pixel camera and image processing. And thanks to that Tensor chip, we have the new highly hyped Magic Eraser, which can remove people from the background of any image with one tap of the screen, which is perfect for people that have constantly changing their relationship status and have to scrub their social media. We have panoramic, we have HDR, we have image stabilization, we have night sight, we have laser focus, and a 12 megapixel selfie camera. Alternately in the 6 Pro, you get the same 50 megapixel wide angle, the 12 megapixel ultra wide, and a 48 megapixel telephoto. So as we know, Pixel cameras traditionally have been a little bit underwhelming on paper because it truly is the software and the image processing behind the scenes that makes a Pixel camera that much better, gooder. And for video, they have made some improvements here. We do get 4K at 60 frames per second, and you can throttle in different levels of image stabilization. So here's an example, whoa. So rear facing camera is 4K, also testing the audio of the mics. It's probably gonna be pretty close and punched in. Now the only comment that I will make, and this was kind of an eye-opener when we originally got the Pixel 2, is when you're looking at a picture that's been taken on a Pixel device, it is very obvious that it was taken on a Pixel. It almost gives you that overprocessed, oversaturated, almost too HDR-y look. Okay, the battery. So again, like most Pixel specs, on paper, somewhat middle of the line or underwhelming, but the actual on-device practical uses far exceed those specs. But it's how this battery is used, or I guess how it isn't used, is what does make this a 24-hour device. So I can say in my 3 weeks with my Pixel 6, it is the longest lasting battery I've ever had in a smartphone. So obviously the size of a battery is the first indicator of how much battery life you're gonna get within a day. But with Google's new Tensor chip and this adaptive battery, it starts to learn when you use your phone more, when you use it less, when you need more power, and when you need less. So if you're on your device more frequently in the evening, it's gonna save you power there, or if you're a morning user, it's gonna give you more power there. there or there. So let's say you're going to bed and you set an alarm. 6 a.m. If your alarm is set for 6 a.m. and your phone is plugged in, charging, it's gonna adaptively charge. So it's gonna trickle charge, so it's gonna slowly fill, and right when it meets 6 a.m., it's gonna get to 100%. So it's not charging fast. Batteries that charge fast and deplete fast, that's when they can heat up, your batteries can develop a memory, and your overall battery life goes down. So this is like a trickle charger that's slowly cascading juice into your battery, and is supposed to help with the longevity of your battery. So what does this all mean? Real world applications. I'm a heavy user, frequent user. And I go to bed with somewhere between 40 to 60% of battery left after using my phone all day. Workouts, music, photos, videos, web browsing, everything. Thing's a beast. Okay, one of the most important features of a smartphone device, the display. So in the Pixel 6, we have a 6.4-inch OLED 1080p display with a 90 Hz refresh rate. Now, I'm no pixel peeper and I don't have the eyes of Marques Brownlee, and I can't tell the difference between 120 Hz and 90 Hz. But this being the first high refresh rate phone I've ever had, you can definitely notice the difference. Your bump up to the 6 Pro gives you a 6.7-inch display, 1440p with a 120 Hz refresh rate. I'm not gonna be able to notice the difference between that. Now, this is one of my other small gripes about this phone. It would be nice if we could have a 6 Max or a 6 Plus, and then a 6 Pro. The two difference in sizes between the 6 and the 6 Pro are awesome, but it would be nice to have more options there. So what does this mean in the real world? Well, it's bright, colors are rich, blacks are deep, the viewing angle is almost infinite. We have a flat screen with minimal bezels and a tiny little selfie camera hole punch. Alright, Google Assistant and the Tensor chip. This one's gonna be a little bit harder to showcase and explain, but I'll see if I can take you on a journey. So speaking of AI and machine learning and the Google Pixel experience, this is something that's going to improve over time once it learns how you use your device. So the easiest way to explain this would be in your chats or messages feature. Say if you mention a date or a time or a place or a video or a photo or a location, after you send that message, you're going to get suggestions from the AI, from Google Assistant. Do you want to share your location? Do you want to share this photo? Do you want to do that? It's intuitive, and it takes the guesswork out of having to work harder to use your device. It does a lot of the work for you. There's also Live Translate, which I can't wait to use when I'm traveling. Simply select the language you're speaking in, the language you want to translate it to, and it does all the rest.
Oh boy, this food is spicy.
Vaya, esta comida es picante.
Where is the nearest bathroom?
Sorry team, I forgot about another really good feature, live caption. So you turn live caption on, and whenever it detects speech.
Hey, what's up? MKBHD here, coming at you from the brand new soft long sleeve, available at shop.mkbhd.com.
So when you don't want to translate and you just want to talk, the talk to text is unbelievable. For those of you that know me well, spelling and punctuation and overall literacy with typed and written things is not my strong suit, but I'm really good at speaking sometimes. So I find I'm talking to my phone more than I'm typing.
People kill people.
And the speed, the cadence, the grammar, the punctuation, the spelling is 10 out of 10. It also starts to learn some of the weird words and phrases that you use, and if you correct a word once, it remembers that and will continue to do it the right way moving forward. It's improving. Lastly is going to be the UI Android 12 on a Pixel. Now this has always been my favorite feature of most Pixel devices. Zero bloatware, zero duplicate apps, settings, or services. Just a clean, simple, efficient operating system. Everything is easy to toggle and change. All of your menus and settings are easy to find, and there's no guessing. I wonder if I can change this or toggle this. The answer is always yes. It does take a little bit to get used to the new Google or an Android 12 UI with the larger icons. Sometimes from your pull-down screen, it takes 2 pull-downs to access most of the information, but after a couple days of using it, you don't notice. Okay, my favorite feature, hands down, it takes a while to get used to, but I've got it dialed now, is the gestures. It makes switching back and forth between apps or accessing multi-apps at the same time, it's unbelievable. Here's an example, and I'm sure this happens to you like it happens to me. You're on social media, you're scrolling, you see something, you want to research that thing. So you close Instagram, open a browser, research that thing, and then you're like, huh, I researched. Now, what was I doing? And the mental memory and skills and problem solving of a 6-year-old. So then you have to go back and retrace your steps and figure out where you are. With this, it's just a side swipe. On the bottom of the screen, side swipe back and forth. You can use everything at the same time. So yeah, if you forget where you left off, you can just swipe to the side. It'll pick up right where you were, and you can continue scrolling your phone mindlessly for hours on end. Okay, like our good friend Rocky Balboa once said, it ain't
sunshine and rainbows.
Here's the bad. The speakers. Pretty bad. Very average, maybe slightly below average. We've got 2 vents on the bottom for speakers, and your earpiece does double as a second speaker for stereo sound. I came over from Samsung, and Samsung speakers crush this thing. It's very quiet. And I like to show videos. I'm a video guy. I show people videos, so it's kind of embarrassing when you're out in public and you're like, hey, watch this video, and you're trying to like cup your hand to amplify. It's not loud enough. It's not loud enough. Okay, the fingerprint reader, everyone's talking about it. So they got rid of Pixel devices used to have the fingerprint reader on the back of the device. That's gone. I personally like that. The downfall of that was when your device was sitting on a desk, you can't get to it, but then you just swipe up and enter a pin or do your pattern, or there's multiple other ways to get into it. So now we have an in-glass fingerprint reader. It's not an ultrasonic, it's optical. And there are some reports of a delay. It does take a little bit. Again, coming from Samsung, it takes about as long as my Samsung device took to unlock. And Google claims that's not a problem, that's for security. So that extra delay is making sure it has your biometrics and your fingerprint and everything lined up before it unlocks. Now, it is a little bit finicky with me. They say no screen protector, so I'm not running a screen protector. And if I'm sweaty, or if I've worked out, or if I've had a bath, or if my skin's really dry or dirty, it has a hard time. But it's what I guess that's the cost of doing business when things are being secure. It's super slippery. So Google's new design science has a glossy back with a matte rails. Those rails do offer a little bit of grip, but if you're going caseless like I am, this thing is super slippery. And it's a pocket slipper outer. You know that spot between the center console and the seats of your car? This thing has a magnetic gravitational pull and just boom, gone forever. So it's slippery. The button layout. So Google's always been really good with their manufacturing and the quality of their hardware. So the tactile feedback and the clickiness of the buttons is always 10 out of 10. Machining, fit, finish, it's awesome. But they switched the layout, so now your power button's on top of your volume button, which is rather here nor there. It's, 3 of one, quarter dozen of the other. It's just something to get used to. Usually your volume's on top and your power button's somewhere else, so it's just a different layout. And I'm big into ergonomics. As you can tell how I'm sitting here hunched over like someone that's hunched over all the time. It just takes a bit to get used to. Okay, accessories. There isn't any. Well, you get a USB-C to USB-C cord. That's it. No adapter, no power brick, no headphones, no dongle. I think dongles are gone. Are we past dongles? Is everyone Bluetooth now? Is that cool? Can we say goodbye to dongles? I know Google made like a $2 billion off of dongles one year, but we don't get a brick. So I don't know the reason for that. I know a lot of manufacturers were saying it's to help decrease packaging, keep costs down, and to minimize the carbon footprint. And Google, if you look at the design science between their Nest products, their home products, and even their Pixel devices, they are always trying to push the sustainability piece and use recycled materials. So if that's the angle that they're working towards with the no accessories in the box, I could kind of see it. But hey, people are still gonna buy these. It's a 30-watt fast charger. You buy it separately, and then you still have to ship it. You still have to package it. People are still purchasing it, so I don't really get that. Can we just go back to a time where when you bought a phone, it came with everything you need? That would be cool. So in summary, in my short 3 weeks, my Pixel 6 experience has been outstanding. Now I think the only thing that's gonna keep people from moving over to Pixel or buying a new Pixel device is going to be the ecosystem piece. Google's always been pretty good about integrating third-party hardware and software and different services into their ecosystem. Apple users it's a big switch, right? You're gonna have iMessenger, you're gonna miss your AirPods, your Apple Watch. Google is definitely lacking behind in the wearables space. So if you're big into fitness and wearables and that kind of stuff for your tech ecosystem, you're gonna miss that. But everything else is gonna integrate and talk nicely. Play nice, boys! Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching. I appreciate the view. If you enjoyed this video, you can click that like button, and I'll see you guys for the next one. Thanks. Pixel 6, Pixel 6.